Yeah, let's end all that. See where we're at here. Right back into this, where I should be. And we're back. Last minute drafts before kickoff. We got football today. It's back, baby. That's right. Tonight we've got Cowboys and Eagles. Should be a fun game. I don't know how good the offenses will be early. Hopefully the defense isn't outplaying them early. We'll see how it goes, though. What am I doing here? Fuck the whole thing up. Not that one. That's the one I want. Act like you've been here before, right? So I guess what we'll do today, we've got Puppy. We still got Best Ball Mania. We might fire one of those off, 98.8. Might do one of those before we close, but first and foremost, we're going to jump in a Puppy 4 here in a minute. Let's see if anybody wants to join, if anybody gets in here. I'll give it a few minutes because it is, 90% full. Don't know how soon that'll be happening. I don't know if this will overlay or not. I would think it'd probably fill pretty quick throughout the day. Best Ball Mania is 98.8. They're both close, aren't they? See what happens. Waiting on 4 for a Puppy. If anybody still got one, if you want to join, if you'd like to draft with me, if you'd like to draft against me, whatever you want to do. You're running out of time because after this, it's going to be BRs, and that's about it. Figured they'd snap fill pretty quick now. Anybody in here drafting with me? If you are, go ahead. I'd like to shout you out. If you'd like to lurk, that's fine as well. I don't see anyone I know in here off the top of my head. If you're in here, let me know. Oh, what are we going to do without this for the next few months besides watch football? I don't really know yet. I guess we'll actually have to watch football games now instead of forecast football games. Probably be a good thing for a few of us, myself included. Haven't seen any interesting news as yesterday, the Juwan Jennings thing. Nothing else. If I haven't seen anything else crazy that's last minute news. The Jets are expected to feature a run heavy offense. Breaking news. We definitely didn't think that was going to happen, did we? We thought Justin Fields was going to be slinging that boy all over the yard and putting up 5,500 yards. No, we probably didn't, but every bit of news now is apparently news. We'll see if these rooms do anything interesting. There was a wild puppy. Who was it on Chad Candle's stream earlier? That puppy, when stuff started, I think somebody had, what was it, JJ Namenra from the 10 or something like that. You never know in these rooms where we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 badges. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes the badgeless drafters do the less crazy things. Who knows? Does anybody, if you're watching this, how many BBMs do you have left, if any, or is anyone maxed out? I can pretty much do it. I'm not maxing BBM, so I've got some left. I can do pretty much anything. I'm not tied or married to any one contest here. I was just firing off a couple before I had to go get stuff done today because I won't have a chance again, probably before kickoff. Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, your first 5 picks. Pretty chalky through there. You can look here with Best Ball Overlay and see your risers and fallers from the whole contest, 30 days, 7 days. Ollie Gordon, Amari Cooper, Tesla, Austin Eckler, and Leggett on the rise. Joe Mixon still falling. B-Rob, Jaden Reed with his foot injury. Tajay Spears on IR. Dynamic Brown. Patrick Mahomes at the 7. Get your guy season. JJ at 8. Christian McCaffrey at 9. We'll get something a little fun here at least, won't we? Puka, Amon-Ra, BTJ. I'm a little bit below weight on Amon-Ra, but I'm not going to try and make up for that in one contest here. I'll just take Puka and think about if Drake London comes back, if I want the week 17 correlation or if I want to grab something else. Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry. I mean, now I'll probably just take Amon-Ra. They both have week 8 buys. It's not the end of the world, but kind of like those two for some good volume picks right to start. Doesn't seem like the worst start ever. I could take BTJ, any of the usual guys in that range, but let's see if Puka and Amon-Ra do not have that start yet. So that's good. Something unique at least. That's why I thought when that happened, I don't remember doing that before, just because the way it always falls where it seems like if Puka goes here, Amon-Ra goes one of these two and never wraps around. At least I've seen it in other rooms. It just hasn't happened. I haven't done as many drafts as some people that have done 1,000 where they had a lot more chances. But it's definitely one of those things where you don't see it happen a whole lot. Patrick Mahomes and George Kittle. All right. Interesting first two picks, but I'm not saying they can't work out. I'm just saying I don't think it's as likely as other things. But you do kind of wrap up Kittle there. So before Brock Bowers, it's kind of interesting. These last minute rooms are always fun. There's some wild ones sometimes where you see people just jumping 30 picks in ADP and grabbing their guys like from the middle of the board or something. Apparently somebody outside has decided now is the time to weed whack. I don't know if you guys can hear that, if it's annoying at all or any of that. Hoping not. Seems like always when you go to stream something, somebody decides they have something to do that's extremely obnoxious nearby. I don't even know if you might not even be able to hear it. I can hear it plain as day, though. Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. Run of running backs in the second. Achane, even with Justin Jefferson's pretty decent there. From the 8 hole. But there have also been a lot of receivers that have been pushed down here and Brock Bowers and such because of this going on. Jamar Chase, Brock Bowers, T. Higgins. That doesn't seem very common. Ladd McConkey. I swear I never have a pick early in the draft here where Ladd will fall to the third. If I push him by here, he'll get taken here or he'll go right before me if I'm in the 2 hole. That's like the least common thing I ever get to happen. I have to remember that these guys both have week 8 buys in case I don't even know if I'll really care about that much at that point. Like you could eat those points and it's going to be so much later in the season where everything comes back up. You're probably not worried about it. Oops. What's happening, Hartman? GM, good to see you in here. Hope you're enjoying your extremely productive day at work. Hopefully you're enjoying your last hours of labor before you get to relax and watch some football tonight, finally. I'm sure that's something we've all been looking forward to here for about 6 months now. Ladd McConkey, Trey McBride, Josh Allen, Amarian Hampton, Lamar Jackson, Kyron. That's pretty chalky through there. This guy comes back and takes Kyron, gets right back on board with ADP. Jaden Daniels to the Drake London and McCaffrey drafter. So all the value gets sucked up here. I think Mike Evans is who I'll take there and see what wraps around. Start with 3 wide receivers. Don't really love any of the if anything, it would be James Cook there, but I might even start 4 wide receivers here, depending who falls. This guy has 2 running backs, so the likelihood of him taking receivers is probably higher. Devontae Adams would have been one of them. I was thinking about the double for the Rams. But I also wanted to bust up from I don't know how much it really matters, even if all 3 of them have week 8 buys. By the time your points score all the way through the season. I don't know if the 1 week will kill you. He goes Tedroy McMillan. That's who I was thinking about taking there. I might go ahead and just get my running back here. Take Travion, take James Cook. Both kind of fun. Let's lean into the. I'm below weight on Cook. Let's catch up a little bit there. I'm way under the field on him. I just got a blanket of Cook. I think 3.5% or something. When he was falling, I would get him every now and then, but he's really just not a click in this range I'd make very much. But I figure there with having 3 wide receivers might be a good idea to get a running back before they dry up with everything coming back this way. Thought about Marv there. I just have very little conviction in their offense this year. Could be wrong, sure. He maybe he pays off his ADP from last year. Just having a hard time believing it. Travis Kelce in the 7 hole here to the Kittle drafter. Bully tight end with Patrick Mahomes. Fair enough. Thought about Travion. I mean, that's an interesting dilemma if you have to go running back right there. Only reason I'd probably take Travion more often. I just did Cook to get a little bit more exposure in that one, I guess. J-Mo Xavier Worthy after Travion Henderson. G-Dub. I'm always interested where Joe Burrow at 47. What's happening, Emo Cowboy? Good luck to you as well in the final stretch. I'm probably just dumping a couple of these puppies. Maybe do a BVM. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with that. I feel like Trey McBride is just going to be his volume merchant because he can probably see him whenever he's running out routes underneath and he's on the move. Marv feels like he should be better than he was last year, but I don't know. I just have a hard time feeling that he's gonna be the guy that beats you there. Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow for the 2 hole. Some of these rooms a little wonky later in the year. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. So everybody's going. We got bully tight end here, bully quarterback here. I think I'll be pushing quarterback down a while now. We should get some interesting fallers back over this range. Breece Hall, if he's still there, might be a click worth making since started 3 wide receivers. I'd actually do that for sure if Breece got there, if he falls that far back the board. Kenneth Walker jumps over him. This guy, total wild card. Travis, I mean, it's funny how people do like 40 reach ADP picks and then just right back where they should be. I might take Breece Hall if he gets there. If not, we still got Calvin Ridley. Breece goes one before it. Calvin Ridley there. I could take. I have Waddle for the week 17 bring back with Mike Evans. Yeah, I think that's fine there. I was debating DJ Moore there. Thought about it, but I just like securing that week 17 matchup. 2 good receivers there. I'll have a chance at a good. If DJ Moore comes back, I'll probably take him. If he goes there, he goes there because this guy probably needs a wide receiver, but I'm more interested in getting my second running back in this range. Figured he'd go there. I was between Waddle and Moore as it was. Tony Pollard here could take Chuba. I mean, by ADP, that's probably the. I don't love Chuba in this range, 5%, but I guess this maybe is a draft where I can clean some things up a little bit. James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, 2 running backs, and I've got Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle as the receivers through 6 rounds. Who Hames? What's happening, my man? Decided to fire up a last-minute stream in here. Do a couple puppies. I'm sure it won't be as crazy as the one you were in, but we've got some fun stuff going on over here. Burrow and Prescott for the 2 hole, Kittle and Kelce from the 7 hole, and Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts from the 4 hole. A little bit of a bully environment in here. Chuba, I don't know how much I love those running backs, but if they're anything like last year, they'll be okay. Just really don't like, I mean, once Pollard's gone and Connor in this range, feels like kind of a. You got RJ Harvey and then everyone's most favorite click on the board, DeAndre Swift, it feels like. Laporta at 71 and Pacheco at 70. That's a fun start there with Lamar, Nico Collins, and Matthew Golden. You get the week 17 bring back with Golden there. RJ Harvey slides all. That's a long slide for. That's what a gift that is for the one hole, right? So you got RJ Harvey come all the way back there, because usually he don't fall past this range much. Tyler Warren 73. Hawkinson follows him right up. So we've got Kelsey, Kittle, Laporta, Hawkinson, and Warren gone. Tight ends pushed way up. I'm trying to keep my build a little bit balanced to where I can think about quarterbacks if I wanted to. Baker would be the first one on the board. Wouldn't be until at least the next round if I want to take him. Diggs in there, Jordan Addison. Surprised he hasn't. Well, I guess that's about where he was going before. I was figuring he would take a little bit longer getting back up there. But in the puppy, I guess it's kind of quick ADP adjustment when people start picking him again. David Montgomery and Aaron Jones. He's got Achane, Kamara, Connor, and Aaron Jones. Seems just a tad out of control. I think it's a little bit out of. I mean, I feel like he could be the focal point of their offense, but Danny Dimes is still their quarterback. Not that I think he can't find Tyler Warren, but how much of an offense is that really going to be? Could get our third running back here. Yeah, we'll take Jordan Mason there. Just get our third running back. Shore that up. Gives us a week 17 bring back with Amon-Ra, Jacoby Myers, and Keon Coleman. So if I was going to take Baker, I'd have to do it here. Don't know that I love it, but I don't know if there's a whole lot more in here I like. Yep. I'm just going to take Baker with Mike Evans because I've got that week 17 bring back with Waddle already. I've got a bring back with Amon-Ra and Jordan Mason here. I also get a week 16 bring back with Chuba Hubbard. Makes it a little bit easier to justify that click. A little bit early on Baker, but my other quarterbacks will be later if I'm going to take them. He also has a week 9 bye, which is nice for my other two quarterbacks, which are also week 8. So I have a 1-3-4-0. Baker Mayfield, James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle. Tight end has not been addressed yet, but the way this room is going, I might be kicking them to the end. Maybe get a decent one in there just to have tight end points to get you there. Really probably just going to be looking. I think Goff will be a target of mine because I've got that bring back already. And then maybe Stafford if I want to push it late. J.K. Dobbins and Bo Nix. So he ended up getting the total Broncos running back stack with Bo Nix and Cortland. So he's Broncos onslaught. That's actually kind of nice if you don't get Joe Burrow because this guy takes him. It's good fall on RJ Harvey too. Evan Ingram and Colston Loveland back-to-backs. Tight end. This guy's got 3 tight ends. And I didn't even see him take Andrews. JCM, for those keeping score, picked 99 right before Zach Charbonnet. So I wanted to get a couple running backs where I did because over here seems to be where a lot of them fall now, especially once you get into the QB pocket or what used to be the tight end pocket before everybody took them here. Shaheed's a fun click this year, not knowing what their offense will entail. Aaron Rodgers at 103. Also interesting. Kyler Murray and Jaden Higgins. Don't know that I want any of those guys. What a yuck range that is, huh? I think I'm going to grab my first tight end right here because I hate how that clears out after that. He goes Caleb Williams and Luther Burden. I don't know that I like Godwin that much there. Do I take another running back? Sure. Let's get a part of the Jags backfield. Also splits up all my running back buys. I might be almost done at running back now. Maybe one more. 1-4-4-1. Not a common way I build, but the way this room's going, I didn't like where the rest of the tight ends were going to be if I didn't grab Kraft there. And that whole range is just yuck. I wanted to open myself up to other things too. Justin Fields, I thought about, but don't have a ton of conviction in that offense, especially if I don't have another piece to go with him. There was a thing I think I was listening to the other day where maybe it was an ETR podcast where they're talking about that naked quarterbacks, even when they're elite upside rushers like that, you almost want to have a piece to bring along with them always, just because it makes your bet better in general. Even though you always really feel good with Fields, just because he can break the slate by himself. Inherently, if they're going to break the slate, they're probably taking someone with them. So you want pieces of it. My bad, I didn't mean to drop the board there from you guys. Herbert goes here. Marvin Mims. I was kind of wondering if that guy was going to do it. He also got both of the Jacksonville running backs over here. So he's got both Denver and both Jacksonville running backs. That's interesting with Bo Nix. That's why I took ETN there, was just to get one of the Jacksonville backs because we don't know how that's going to go yet. You don't have to chat who. You just being here, I appreciate that. You can do your thing, man. Make breakfast, make some for me too. I'll DM you my address. It'll probably be cold by the time it gets here, but I'd let you do it. Austin Eckler, 127 after Troy Franklin. I might have to think. I mean, this is probably the spot where I'm going to have to grab Goff. Yeah, let's do that. Shore that up. All right, so we got Goff and Amon-Ra. Maybe two quarterbacks. And at least I've got the Jordan Mason bring back too. So that doesn't feel terrible. I would have thought about Love if he made it back around to stack with Kraft for my third quarterback. Kind of a lot of capital there that I don't necessarily love. Okay. That'll be my fifth running back, and that also gives me another bring back with Mike Evans. So look how bass-ackwards this build is. 2-5-4-1. We're going to have to get some receivers and a tight end out the door. We're probably done at running back with that build. James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason, Travis Etienne. Yeah, we'll be done at running back there, so it'll be 5, and then we'll probably hammer wide receiver for the next 4 picks. Priorities would probably be Tesla. He might be the only one. And then when I get to Stafford, but other than that, I'll just find some other receivers to piece together. I'm pretty strong up top at wide receiver where I'm not too worried about it. I'm really just looking for bringbacks in those games. Maybe some. Oh, I've got a fun one I could also throw in there at the end. Just to be a little different. Thought about Cedric Tillman in that range as well. Too early for them, and he probably won't make it back here, but he might just be. If Joe Flacco's out there slinging it, I feel like he could be a good advance rate piece. Depending on how long Flacco's playing, too. If he doesn't play but half the year, if Browns implode. But that also gives me 2 decent bringbacks into the Tampa Bay game that I've made my bet on with Mike Evans. Not horrible. Kind of thin at wide receiver, but I'm going to volume it at the end anyhow. The running back I felt like was going to dry up immediately after where I was, which it kind of looks like it did. It was really pushed up in this range. And then for here it was all and then it was just a bunch of wide receivers and then everybody started picking them again. Bryce Young at 143. He gets Xavier Legette, so he gets another quarterback there. I was not going to be playing that game. I don't have any pieces of it outside of Chuba, but I'm not ever really interested in stacking Bryce with Chuba. I'd probably be more interested in stacking him with Rico Dowdle, if anything. Tua goes there, so I won't be making that bet later, but I wasn't worried about that because it was really just a bet on the bring back. Tillman, if he comes back, would be a pick there. Pop Douglas, probably just for volume in that range, just to cover a bye week. Sure, why not? Oh, look at Dirty P made it. I'm glad. See, that's what I was hoping is that enough people would repost it, and we would be able to. I'd be able to get some new people in here that I don't always see. Good to see you, Dirty P. Glad to see somebody new found their way in here. That's what I hope is every now and then, because I don't really like blast it when I'm streaming or anything, but I'll. I think I did. I don't remember. I believe I did. I thought I saw Steve or somebody repost it. I'll check again here in just a second. Yeah, I posted on X. It wasn't like a big banner or anything crazy like that. Yeah, I figured people were going to be hammering the marathon. I might do a marathon or a sprint, or I won't. I doubt I'll be able to get into any of the promo stuff because I started too late today. But if you guys want to run something, I will. I'll totally leave it up to you. If there's something you want to run, if you want to, there's something in there you want to fill. Currently a 2561 Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason, Travis Etienne, Ollie Gordon, Puka Nakua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Demario Douglas, Cedric Tillman, and Tucker Kraft. Recap for the audio listeners, of which there probably are none. But in the event that there is, sometimes Candyman's out there driving or listening something of that like. Brenton Strange and Zach Ertz. I have Tucker Kraft probably a 2 tight end build unless I kick him late. Yeah, it's probably end up at 2.682, I would think. Or 2.673 or something like that. See what it looks like when it gets back. Najee Harris at 170 feels really underpriced. I mean, in the event that he's, able to see and not run, appreciate you who reposting. As long as Najee's out there, not out there running in counterclockwise circles because his peripheral vision is not solid, I think that's a really good pick at 170. It's a hardball offense. Feel like they're going to run the ball a lot. Quarterback run there of Sam Darnold, Jackson Dart, and Russell Wilson back to back. Also fun. Quarterbacks are pretty much dried up unless I feel like maybe I'll throw Flacco on the end or something because I don't have any I guess Baker's the highest rushing upside there. How are we feeling about K. Dot in there, huh? That might have to be what I do, even though limited by a groin issue. We'll take him there, see what comes back. After that, tight ends aren't very went Chase Higgins, my last marathon, didn't have a chance. Oh yeah, there's no rules in here. If you look at this draft, Mahomes, Kittle, Kyron Williams, Kelsey. I've seen what's going on in here. Sometimes that's why I'm like, if I'm close to getting something I need, I'll go ahead and grab it. Fannin would have been the other tight end I was thinking about grabbing late here. If not, still think he took John. That was the other one I was thinking about in that range. Fun ones here. I know he's starting on IR, but it gives me my 7th receiver, and it's a bring back in week 16, which is a long way from IR right now. So I've got a 2.572. Only quarterbacks I'd probably be thinking about, maybe Joe Flacco if I'm tacking him on at the end there. If not, this most likely be a 2.682 build. Tucker, maybe I want that third. We'll see how the tight ends go. I would think tight end room's probably all right, though, with what'll be available at the end here. The Coker news really sucks for the Panthers, but hopefully hopefully they can actually run the ball and sustain drives to where they're not having to throw it 50 times a game. Their defense worries me that that'd be the case. Rico Dowdle, along with Najee, those both feel like criminally rated handcuffs where they get picked on the board. 170, 191. Ripping the last couple secret Banana Society drafts. I love that everybody in here is such a degen that they will watch a stream and be ripping other drafts on the side. Just like, I mean, it's every one of us too. It's like, oh, if I'm not in this one, I guess I'll get in one where I'm not. Darius Slayton feels like another good pick down here if you need a wide receiver. Should I make this a Joe Flacco team? He does have the same buy as Baker. I don't know how much I like that. I think we'll do something else crazy at the end here. I don't even know if I'm going to go with third quarterback. I'll probably just fill in the roster where it's at. I don't see any. Maybe. Got one idea of something I might do here. How do we feel about that running back room? That's probably okay. I'm not really married into any one pick here, which is a good spot to be when you get later in the draft. I love how the bottom of the board has changed. Not a lot, but there's a few other. Malik Washington would have been one I was thinking about there for the other bring back. So in this range, we could take our 6th running back there. We also have Roman Wilson, Darren Waller if we wanted it. Oh, just got that off. I popped up the thing. I want to get a 6th running back with a just a contingent bet in there. And then I'm probably just going to take another wide receiver. These are almost always handcuffed. I mean, you see DJ Giddens down here, Keaton Mitchell, Rico Dowdle. He's a real good one there. Monangai was another one I was thinking about for the goal line back. If he ends up the goal line back for the Bears in the Jamal Williams role, kind of a sucker for Taj Brooks in this range when he gets down there, just because in that offense. Where are we at? 2.672. How do we feel about the tight ends? Could go Muth. Let's just get Jalen Milroe for the bring back, since I have 2 different pieces of the Carolina offense. And then that gives us a crazy rushing upside in the event that he's the starting quarterback by week 17. So the team ends up a 3.672. Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Jalen Milroe, James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason, Travis Etienne, Ollie Gordon, Taj Brooks, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Demario Douglas, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Coker, hoping for a late season surge from him. Tucker Kraft and Kate Otten rounds out the tight end room. Not the greatest team, not the worst team. There's some wonky stuff going on in the room over here, like Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson with 3 running backs, and then Mahomes, Kittle, and Kelsey all in the first 4 rounds. You can see the last picks here, so in case you guys want to see the last round dart throws that people are doing. I don't hate D-Hop. I can't believe it. I get why he's still down there. It just feels like maybe he should be up here, like by Amari Cooper. I could be wrong. And then these are just Elijah Royals, another fun tight end there late. I've thrown Milroe on a couple of these teams later in the year, especially if I have any Panthers things going, just because I feel like their defense could be awful and he could run for 100 yards in 2 plays against them. Hunter Renfro was the other click I was thinking about pushing down here if I didn't take Coker where I did. I just wonder if Hunter Renfro will actually be healthy by week 17. And I feel like with Coker starting on IR, he might have a better chance of actually being healthy. If anybody has anything that they want to draft and you're in here, you can drop in the chat and I'll give it a look. As soon as I go name this team, would we just do Puppy 4? I wonder if it'd be done yet. Sometimes it takes a minute to get there. Where's our Puppy 4? That one's it right there. If there's anything you guys want to do, you're free to drop it. If not, I might just rip another puppy. I'll give you guys a few minutes here to suggest something if you'd like to. I guess while I'm here, I could go over. This isn't extremely up to date, but it's pretty close. If it ever loads, you can see my portfolio. Matt Stafford, my most drafted quarterback, then Kyler Murray and Jared Goff. Running backs, Braylon Allen, Rico Dowdle, Jarquez Hunter, Rashad White. Can you tell I was a 0 RB bro early in the year? Darnell Mooney, Alec Pierce, Cedric Tillman, Matthew Golden, Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen. That was before the trade, so curious to see if any of those teams are actually Vikings teams. Puppy or marathon's cool with me. 4 rounds into a payoff marathon. Okay, so Dirty P will probably just be listening. Let's see. What do we feel like doing here? What's the marathon at? 67%. Highest scoring win, so you don't really have to worry about any week 17, and then I'll do a marathon. You guys want to jump in there? Hopefully. I thought I learned about this, right? Great. And look at what's going on here. Chess Liam in the one hole. This is what happens when you don't give people a countdown. Hartman, I didn't think it was going to snap. I really didn't. So we got Liam in the one hole. Anybody else in here? How often does that happen? Like if I don't give a 10-second countdown, it will snap fill immediately. It is like absolutely the thing that happens. I know, but still it's frustrating because I told myself I wasn't going to let that happen again. And then I did it because you guys talked me into a marathon. I was like, all right, we'll do a marathon. Didn't even think about the countdown. Bam. Best Ball Mania 3 winner in your room. Yeah, I would think he is too. But I'm sure his ranks are probably decent where you're not going to see much falling value too. Always remember, give a countdown. I need to like put myself something that flashes on the screen before I'm going to enter a draft. So that tells me to don't forget to give a countdown. Hartman's seen that twice. And I don't even stream a ton. And there's been 2 times where I'm like, we'll do this and enter and waiting. No thought about it whatsoever. So we've got no real week 17 matchups to worry about in this. I mean, you could play that the game shoots out, I guess, if you know that, but really you're just looking for total points in the marathon. Get guys that are going to score a bunch of points. Yeah, that's probably what it is too. Okay, if CMC's the 101 at 6, sure. Total points. If he's not cooked, then it's probably a good pick, right? Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase from the 5 back to the 1. Anybody else in here that I know? I don't see anybody that I recognize their names. If you're in here, I will absolutely shout you out. Also, shout out to Chess Liam, who, if you notice, I guess I could do this real quick. I might have to wait till after to do that. But if you see, go to this. I've got the chessboard right here on my stream as a tribute to Liam. Shout out to Liam Murphy on that one. If you're watching, A Night on the Rim is dim. Some people pay attention. Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Derrick Henry, Puka Nakua, Ashton Genty, and Amon-Ra St. Brown round out the turn. That's what I was talking about, where when you take Puka here, Amon-Ra always goes here. It's rare that you get him to wrap around. At least I do. This just seems how it falls a lot. And just like I was thinking about in the last draft, if you don't take him, then you can probably shore up your week 17 matchup right away with Drake London. In this contest, I don't know that it matters as much, but if that game's a shootout and you need it to push you over the top, then it's the thing to have. Haven't done many of these marathons yet, so just total points. Don't have to worry about week 17 as much. Sometimes you get into just like the zone where you're like week 17's bring backs, all this stuff, and you got to remember sometimes just scoring points can be good in these other contests. How soon are we about to learn that a lot of stuff we knew was absolutely wrong after this weekend? What do you guys think we're wrong on? If there's something that you think that we're really fading here, what do you think it is that we're wrong about? Okay, since I don't have a CMC and Bucky team yet, that's going to happen. We'll start with the high T start. Not something I do a lot. CMC and Bucky. I usually won't start with two running backs, especially the way the boards have been lately, or the rooms have been especially. Because if you look, most everybody builds pretty balanced. Running back, wide receiver, two wide receiver, running back, wide. You see, it's all the way through there. But it's also could be a time to leverage it too when you see it. I was really just doing that to build out a little more unique team. CeeDee Lamb and Brock Bowers always feels good. I feel like I'll get that more than I will some of these other combos. And then, like I said in the last draft, Ladd a lot of times just don't fall into the third. So when I see people get it, I'm like, man, that just doesn't happen for me as often as I feel like I see it happen. The gap between Bowers and McBride is something that's funny. Sometimes you'll see Bowers go all the way over here, and then McBride will fall to here, and then other times they're two picks apart. I guess in this contest, I could see why they'd be closer. Total points, you're just looking for your nutted outcome. So you might want to have that game-breaking piece at tight end. So McBride might be a little bit higher in the marathon versus the other tournaments. Shout out to Hartman as well, winning your ticket on drafters there earlier in the contest giveaway. Pretty cool thing they're doing to try and get people, incentivize people to get in their rooms, right? We got Josh Allen here. By ADP, it would be Lamar if he's there. He does take Lamar. Fun spot there. Which one you think? Yeah. Should I go boring or fun there? Let's go boring. That's way more boring, isn't it? Start with three running backs. Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, and Kyron. Do something totally different. I never start like that. We'll just see what we can piece together now. Total point scoring. I mean, those are three guys that should be able to score, especially if they're all offenses where you think they're going to score touchdowns. That should be a lot of points. We'll probably be quite behind at wide receiver, but we're going to volume that. And this might even be a 4 running back build with this. Their buys are already split. If they're wrong, they're wrong. So, you're not even going to worry about covering any of that. I would think the elite quarterbacks probably get pushed up in this a little bit more as well. But then Josh Allen goes there and Lamar falls right at ADP. Travion Henderson at 34 and Hurts at 35. See, these ADPs, I want to see what his, and see what his name was. What is, okay, so his ADP was a little bit lower. He did pull him up a little bit. Make sure I wasn't going crazy there. Yeah, see, these ADPs a little bit, and you can tell I haven't set rankings for these, so I'm kind of like winging this and seeing what'll be available where. But it is a total points contest too, so it's kind of like, did you make the right bet or didn't you? And you see these other wide receivers. Right, and that's what I thought. That's why I took 3 running backs early. I figure I could just volume wide receivers and then hopefully, get a couple decent quarterbacks to score points, especially if I'm not going to be playing with Hurts, Daniels, Lamar, or Allen. Boy, Garrett Wilson don't feel great there, does he? Feels great enough where I'm going to let him go right down the board. I'll just skip over him and take Pickens. Somebody else wants him there, you can have him with that volume. That could be the wrong call. I mean, in the event that he's just, the dude. Yeah, Brees RB3. That would feel good. I can see that. I was debating there on Garrett Wilson, but I just feel like Pickens has so much more upside than, especially in a season-long contest. If they're going to throw the ball 600 times, how much do we really think Fields is going to throw the ball? This guy bully tight end, so he might be a little thinner at wide receiver, but he could be flexing one of those, I guess. George Pickens, Garrett Wilson, JMO, DK Metcalf. Brees Hall in the 5th feels pretty. Brees Hall and Jonathan Taylor. That doesn't seem terrible with Josh Allen and Jamar Chase. I can see how this contest could be a lot just like chaos ensuing in weeks 15, 16, 17, where you get a lot of risers and fallers. Like, what I'm saying, where your pods level out and stuff. Or not your pods, but like where the total points catch up or fall off a cliff. Rookies fall if you like them scattered. Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Chuba goes there. I think Calvin Ridley seems like a good pick there when I need a wide receiver. It's him or Ibuka. I do have that bet already with Bucky, but I'm just going to take another wide receiver, and I think he'll get a bunch of volume. What's happening, Cody? Great content this year. Oh, you're doing a sprint onto the season. Hell, Cody, I haven't last little bit. I try and watch your stream when I can. It's usually later at night. But if you guys are following, any of you guys are watching, Off the Schneid's a good follow. Huhaim's a good follow. Hartman's a good follow. All these guys I'm showing you in here that have streams of their own, definitely we're checking out content that's as good, if not a lot better than mine. But I appreciate all you guys stopping in here. This is why the community is awesome, is because you can start doing this shit and everybody will show up and support you. And we're all kind of doing the same thing, figuring stuff out as we're going and trying to make a 17-week parlay hit. The only other person I'd shout out if he came in here currently would probably be Liam, but I doubt he's cool enough to come say hi in my stream. I don't blame him. He's probably got way better things to do. Good to see you in here, Cody, though. I appreciate you stopping by. Every one of you guys that comes in here and all the time is supporting. I'll always shout you out. Started CMC, Jacobs, Lamar, and Marathon. Still got DK, Ridley, Diggs, Olave. Need some room help, but survive. Yeah, and that's the thing, too, with these marathons. I feel like if you can just get some volume, wide receivers like your Metcalf, your Ridley, your Diggs, Olave, but it's survivable. I think we're all D-gens, but yeah, you guys are definitely – you make me proud is what you do, because I would love to be on the level of D-gen that you're not, that you are, and I'm not quite there yet, but I'm going to try it. Did 3 marathons just because. I mean, the overlay is a good reason to do it. Just because of what you can I mean, it's in essence a better. You're just bettering your odds of hitting in something decent. Yeah, thought I saw what that. I couldn't remember which was. I knew one was a sprint and one was a marathon. I couldn't remember. Was a sprint 5? Yeah, so do two more and get one free. Basically, that's what I thought. Uh, the other one was for the sprint. Was that 5-1 or something? I mean, if you think I'm saying no to Matthew Golden, or do I take Rome there for the bring back? I guess it don't matter as much. Would have thought about Rome there, but I think Golden probably sees more volume. They might be maybe a more concentrated offense than the Bears, especially with the Reed injury. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought the sprint, this was 2 and get one free, and then the sprint was like 5 and get one free or something. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. Currently at 0.330. Debo Samuel, Montgomery, Roma Dunze, and Rashi Rice go after that. Thought about a Dunze there, just if he's the one, but I feel more confident about Golden being the one in Green Bay. If you see Liam went Metcalf, Olave, Brees Hall, Jonathan Taylor, I mean, that's a good team there from the one hole. You know your receivers, like we were saying earlier, the receivers can get gobbled up, but he's got good running backs and then a couple volume receivers. I mean, your point scoring's all up here anyhow. The rest of it, you just got to make it happen. Oh, one pick before me. My bad. Didn't mean to drop that yet. I don't know. Man, Tyler Warren seems a bit rich there, doesn't he? God, do you really have to do that there? I mean, it's total points, but I suppose that just seems way too high of a price to have to pay for that. But if he's going to be the volume of the Colts offense and total season scoring, I can see how he could get a ton of volume. Mahomes goes to the worthy drafter. Zero 331. Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Matthew Golden, and Tyler Warren. Through 7 rounds, service audio listeners, in the event that you're here. Hawkinson was the other pick I thought about there. I just wonder volume wise, like total season points, if Warren can't get there over him, just being the focal point of their offense, where theirs has, mouths to feed, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, both running backs, where I don't feel as much of that's going on with the Colts. Nobody in the Colts offense outside of Jonathan Taylor has shown us that they dictate the volume of the workload, and maybe that's what Tyler Warren does. At least that's the bet I'm making here. I'm not saying it's right. Baker goes there, so it won't be getting him. Where does Dak go in this? I'm curious. 94. So I'd probably have to take him there. Might not be the worst thing, though, in a total points contest. Dirty P, you're the one doing this to me? Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but I hate what you've done to me having to make that click. I mean, I did. I'd like to. I think in pre-draft it was Warren and Colston Loveland were my 2 highest tight ends, but they just kept well, especially Warren just kept going up. I think I'm gonna take Dak there just for the Pickens stack, with it being a total points contest. A little bit early, but Allen's gone, Burrow's gone, Lamar's gone, Jaden Daniels is gone, Jalen Hurts is gone, Baker Mayfield's gone, Mahomes is gone. CeeDee Lamb drafter is right there. I don't think it would have got by him. So I believe taking Dak there was correct in the event that I wanted to get him. And in order to stack up my number one receiver, I've got to do that. Only thing that I don't like is that Calvin Ridley and Dak have the same bye. So, but it is total points, so I'm probably not worried about as much if I have to take Cam Ward. Travis Etienne, Kyler Murray up in 2 picks here. JCM for the bring back would be fun. Here goes Brock Purdy. I believe I'm going to take Mooney there. Yeah, that's probably the right idea. They're moving the best ball drafts to its own tab. Oh, are they really? Well, that tells you what time of year it is now, don't it? I wonder if Mooney was the last good wide receiver to get in there. I'm kind of hoping so because it feels like after him the cliff comes. It also unlocks another quarterback for me later in this contest. How thin can I play this at running back is the question. Can I get away with 4 in this build? I might try it. Or a late 5th. That is kind of exciting, though. It tells you what time of year it is, where we're at here. So what they do when they move that to its own thing? So it's just that, and then is like it's its own tab outside of NFL, or because I could go look, I guess, but trying to pay attention a little bit to what's going on here because it was all because the NFL contests were each their own thing under the NFL tab. So that's also something that's interesting. What other quarterbacks, I guess? Love and Penix. I don't know where they go, so I want to make sure I'm keeping track of that. Just so I know in the event that I have to grab one of those from my other ones, it'll at least in the event that I have to take them. I don't know how soon I would want another quarterback yet, though, with spending the capital where I did on Dak. Godwin, I wonder about. I would like him to be a good pick, but every bit of information we get seems to be a little bit worse than the previous piece of information that we had. I'll take Tucker Craft again. Probably 2 tight end build. I'll be done there with those 2, Tucker Craft and Tyler Warren. Does make me a bet on the Packers offense, which feels like they should be 2 good pieces of that offense. Jordan Love would come back right around at ADP. I could probably take him there and just be done at quarterback. So then I could be done at quarterback and tight end and just fill out the middle positions. It doesn't feel terrible if he gets there, especially with it being a total points contest too. How do you guys feel about Cooper Kupp? That's the one player where I feel like that's a guy I feel like could cook me this year. If he's not cooked, I haven't taken a ton of them. I don't see it happening. That's why I haven't taken a lot of them, but we have seen him have that wide receiver 1 upside, even if it was 3 years ago. He's one of the dustier vets that I have a hard time getting behind unless I'm in that game already, like a Panthers or a Seahawks build somehow. Jaden Reed goes there. I would have thought about it and try and push Love all the way back around. Scatterbo, what's his ADP in this? Jake Ferguson goes there. I will take Love almost right at ADP and let that be the end of my quarterback. So it's a 2-3-4-2. Goofy build, but it's also a different tournament to where total points anyhow. So I'm going to be done at both quarterback and tight end. Not even worry about those anymore. And just volume the rest of these out and running back and wide receivers. I feel like I've got two good volume tight ends there. Quarterback that should pass a ton of times, and two good pieces of what we hope should be a better offense that scores a lot of points and Love, and with Love, Kraft, and Golden. Three good running backs. I'm probably just going to be in a hammer wide receiver bit here for a minute. Because if my running backs are right, then they should get me pretty far into this thing. Maybe a couple rookies on the tail end to try and for the late season push. With McCaffrey being a little bit dustier. If those three backs hit, though, those are kind of nutted offenses to have if they're, good. Bucky's another one that worries me after last year. Can he replicate the kind of season he had? And can Baker, I guess, replicate the season he had as part of it as well? He seems like a big regression candidate, but they gave him some help on offense too. So maybe not so much. Keenan Allen at 127. Would have thought about him if he made it back. Old said Tillman's never failed you there. Josh Palmer, good offense. Not that I think he could score a lot of points, but maybe he has a couple touchdown week. Yeah, I can handle that there. Splits up all the buys too. Just to fill in to score some points there. Don't love Josh Palmer at all as a click. 3%, as you can tell. I pretty much only take him on Josh Allen teams. But for just a floor player production when I have in week 10, so like week 10, I would have Golden, Mooney, Josh Palmer. Seems at least a little bit better. I just feel like he doesn't have that big upside. Like his upside is falling to the end zone twice. I don't see him being like a game breaker where he's going to break the slate on his own. He's got to be a product of the offense. Tillman, always a click I like making in that range. Penix goes there. Would have thought about him with Mooney, but I'm just going to leave this at two quarterbacks and see if I can cover some bases through the middle. I might just be hammering wide receiver until the very end of this draft. Three running backs up top, everything else filled out. Yeah, if Lee gets there, I'll take him. See if this guy is watching and decides he wants him instead. But just another one that, like, if the offense is better, Coker's on IR, should see some volume. He takes him. I expect nothing less. Najee splits all my buys, and I think I might just stop at running back there. I could take 5 more wide receivers. Or maybe I'll take one more running back and make it like a 2-5-9-2. That might be the idea. Because I don't think I'm going to dabble in any of the other tight ends and down here. Running back, I'm pretty well set at. Even Najee splits every bye for these guys. So if they're going to be a run-heavy offense, or at least if Najee's, serviceable as what they paid him, they were going to be in the offseason. Ayuk was another click I would have thought about making there for the late season push. It's for the audio listeners, 2452, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, Najee Harris, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Matthew Golden, Darnell Mooney, Josh Palmer, Tyler Warren, Tucker Kraft are the tight ends. 2452 is the build currently. I'm excited. I kind of want to see what that's all about. Who Cam Ward would have been my other quarterback I would have thought about taking if he gets back here. We should probably look for some rookie upside plays in here at wide receiver. Stuff like that, unless there's a running back in here that interests me in that range. Jerome Ford, I would have thought about there. Kyle Williams could be another one in that range for the late season surge. I'm trying to think of guys that might have, could build up and have a better, like in the playoff weeks, that could help put you over the top, given injuries, or they just figure it out as a rookie, or they become a better part of the offense. I mean, Dante Thornton right there feels like exactly what I'm trying to do. So pick 163 puts me to 2462. Marathon complete. Dude took Carson Wentz in the 18th. Aaron Rodgers. Did he take Carson Wentz and at least have like Minnesota or something, or he just take Carson Wentz? Because I feel like unless you have Minnesota and got sniped on JJ, that's hard to take Carson Wentz. Or did he have? He didn't have DK or Roman Wilson or anything. Some people, I get that it's a marathon, but what are you banking on there? Still just seems like a thinner bet to me. I could be wrong. You guys could tell me I'm stupid. I'm absolutely open to the criticism. Joe Mixon, 167. I would have thought about him if he came back for my last running back this far down, but that's also tough with the news. Brenton Strange and Zach Ertz. So Liam has Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. See, this convinces me more that in this range, when people do stuff that I'm doing, that maybe my thought process is right sometimes, or we're both wrong. Jonnu Smith, another fun tight end in that range. I feel like he's one that's underpriced as well. Even though he fell so much, what if he's the number 2 in the Pittsburgh offense? I get that it's an Art Smith offense, but it's still just what I was thinking. Good luck to the Cam Ward drafter. So I got a couple rookies here 3 rookie wide receivers that I feel like could push in the late part of the season. Might take 2 rookie running backs as contingent bets here at the end. Just because maybe I'll take one because I've got a good running back room. Maybe just one of the rookie running backs as a contingent play if something happens. Right. That's kind of where I'm at. I'll take the shot on D-Hop more just because he's damn near free, but Cooper Kupp, you're paying double the price. So that's real tough. I don't see him burning me, but I'm not gonna say it's not in the range of outcomes. There are some, like even in this draft, like James Cook's usually pretty close to invisible for me, and that was last draft. But James Cook is the one click in that range that I feel like I take everything else around him more. Trying to think if there's anybody else where just in their range I'd never click them. Jake Ferguson might be one where I feel like I either have tight ends by then, or unless I'm in that build, I don't touch him. So I've got Pickens, Ridley, Golden, Mooney, Josh Palmer, Dante Thornton, Io Manor. That 7 might be all right for how I started, huh? I still think I should take 2 more running backs, or at least 1 and 1 and maybe a third tight end. I'm gonna stop at 2 quarterbacks. There's nothing else in here that I would wanna build that would make sense without reaching, so I think I just fill those other positions in. That I do believe. Sign up for 2 marathon, got 1 hole in the first, 12 hole in the second, so, oh, yeah, that is nice. You get them back to back like that. What's nice too is you can watch the board. Yeah, yeah, perfectly wrong. Yeah, if you unless you're trying to spread out some where you're drafting on the board. It just depends though because one pick can change. If you get one pick that's weird in those first 2 rounds, it can really make a 1 or 2 spot really good. I have become less of a fan of the one hole recently, like we were talking about earlier. If the room doesn't stay in line, mm, yeah, I like DJ Giddens there as the yeah, you're gonna be on. Yeah, they're both gonna roll back. That's what I was thinking, especially on the turn. At least you'll have a good break in between the two, but the turn will get sketchy a lot. What you could do is slow roll one of yours to where you're making your other picks, and then just go back and make the other two. Like do the one from the 2 hole, I guess. Slow roll that one, and just cue it, and then hurry up and do your other picks on the other one if you know what you're doing. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you suggestions on how you could manage that. Fannin, it looks like you have to take in the 16th now. Lied again. He had Hawk. Which one? Oh, I see what you're saying about Dirty P. Keandre Lambert Smith at 17 in the 17th. I don't hate the Chargers pieces down here because I feel like they could be really good. Look at there's Dirty P. There's your invisible click to D Hop about to stare me right in the face. The thing is, I don't know if I cannot take him here. I have the bring back in week 17. I mean, I get that it's marathon, whatever. But that might be the best click for me right now. Sure. Is Fanning going to hit, or are we going to be wondering what? I mean, there was so much steam on him in the pre-draft stuff. Everything that all the the beats feel like they're gonna use him in 12 personnel and not as an inline tight end, but like a slot receiver. So that seems like it could be really good for him. But the second Joe Flacco's not the quarterback for the Browns, then what do we think about even if it's their number 2 or 3 target on the team? How do we feel about that? I feel I like it a lot more when Flacco's the quarterback than Dylan Gabriel for Harold Fannin. Now, if the Browns can stay like viable and actually compete all the way through the year, then I feel like Fannin could be a smash. Do we think they're going to do that? It's the Browns. If you can read between the lines there, I think you know what I'm saying. It's one of those I'll have to believe it when I see it thing. Now we've seen it with Joe Flacco and the Browns, but have we seen it for a whole season? I guess is the thing. I would like Fannin to hit. I would like Fannin to hit just for the sake of the Browns hitting on a tight end from Bowling Green. You know what I'm saying? It feels like especially like look at what the Browns have dealt with for the last however long, just bad decision after bad decision, it seems like. I think this last one probably be a contingent running back and just end up with a 2.682. Joku, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they allegedly they're going to start like they want to be in the top 10% of 12 personnel this year. So they're going to use 2 tight end a lot. I just wonder the second Joe Flacco's not the quarterback, like if Shadur is the quarterback or Dylan Gabriel, does that bode well for Fannin? I feel like maybe half as well as it does with Flacco. Could be wrong, absolutely. But I would like to see him get used like a slot receiver where they give him a ton of volume. Yeah, it is because of where he throws underneath and stuff. I just wonder It's got to be a volume play then, don't it? Like we're not thinking about they're going to score a lot of touchdowns, and you still got Njoku there. I like the bet. I just so much better with Flacco. So much better with Flacco, I feel like. Which one do we like here? Should I take a random one off Dontavian Wicks? Sure. 0.4%. I think I'll do that. Just make it a 2.592. I feel good enough about the running back room, and it gives me another piece of Green Bay offense. Just if he catches any touchdowns, he can get in the room there. So 2.592, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, Najee Harris, DJ Giddens, George Pickens, Kelvin Ridley, Matthew Golden, Darnell Mooney, Josh Palmer, Dante Thornton, Alik Iomanor, DeAndre Hopkins, Dontavian Wicks, Tyler Warren, Tucker Kraft are the tight end room. I may have a lot of Fannin in my DK bags. Fannin, Zay Jones, Damien are there in the last 4 rounds usually too. I mean, that seems like it'd be really good in that range, just because they're totally different clicks than you make over in this range. Yeah, Fannin does have the hotness tax, and Theo Johnson, you feel like would have way less competition just with Njoku. But like same thing if Njoku gets traded mid-season. That's another thing too, where Theo Johnson, if later in the season Jackson Dart's the quarterback, then Johnson could be a smash if they're running like a high up tempo offense or something like that. So now what I want to do, were you talking about who were you talking about is it on the mobile app that the best ball is its own tab? That's what I was wondering. All right, I'll run one more. I'll run a puppy if you guys want to do it. I will give you a countdown this time because I'm going to try and not rug pull you. So anybody that wants to get in here, this might be mobile pop-up when you refreshed. Okay, that's what I was wondering because I didn't see it on here. I was like, I figured the way you said that with it being tabs and stuff, it would probably have to be mobile. So anybody that wants to run the puppy 4, I'm going to do the right thing and give you a countdown this time. We'll try and keep Liam out of our room if you guys want to get in here. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Confirm. Let's see what we get in here. I mean, I gave you guys plenty of time if you were trying to get in here, and I even slowed the countdown. I'm hoping you got in here. It wasn't from not trying that time. Anybody make it in here? We got Hartman at the 4. I actually recognize your name for once. You like that, Hartman? I think that's it. Did anybody else end up in an overflow? I was trying to give a good countdown there, and well, you see how these are snap filling. It went from 1 waiting immediately. We got Hartman in the 4 spot. Anybody else, if you're in here, you want me to shout you out, I will absolutely do that. Good luck, everybody. Don't see anybody else I know in here. I'm not familiar with some of the names in here. Yeah, I know, for real. Because you've got a name like mine where, look, you would never, if you weren't looking for that, you'd never see it. If I was looking for Hartman, that wouldn't be what I was looking for. This is why I'm kind of glad that I really only do stuff on Underdog for the first like year or 2 I've been learning this, because now on my other sites that I haven't even made usernames for, I can just make it BBOC and be done with it. Like DraftKings, I can't because I had my thing in there forever. But I'm still taking CD. I lagged. It wasn't really that you lagged out as much as went right when my countdown ended, Dirty P. It went right from 1 snap filled. Like I was waiting on 1 waiting, and it was that quick. So I try and do it, but you see how these things are filling right now. I mean, it's at what percent full it is. I apologize that I didn't get you in. It was definitely was not because I was not trying to let you in here. The last one, you could make the case that I was trying to not let you in here, even though it wasn't really the case, but you could definitely make it. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Nico Collins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua. See, and the Amon-Ra Puka Nacua thing didn't happen again. Yeah, I was thinking about something like that. I could definitely do the YT thing. That'd be way easier. I haven't done anything on drafters yet. I was going to see if I won the promo and then fire off some of those this morning if I did, because I haven't done anything on there. But I might just wait until next year or, in the in-season contest to do it this year. I've watched enough of it where I think I know what's going on, but I've been predominantly underdog just because more or less learning my way around the streams and knowing the ropes of streaming and availability in these rooms and the contests and stuff. Just trying to keep it more condensed for the time being, but I feel a little more comfortable with what I'm doing now, so I can definitely branch out some. Everybody with a balanced build other than one person. And that seems like, and then Christian McCaffrey, it seems like there's one on when you get to the middle of the board, there'll be somebody that's double running back and somebody that's double wide receiver, and the rest of them usually build pretty evenly. Excuse me. Brock Bowers and Saquon. I was hoping I'd get a CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers back here. Lad would also be fun. Lamar Jackson, he's not even going to play the game here, huh? I think I will take Lad. A little bit underweight on Lad, but not too worried about that. 5.5%. Also a week 16 bring back with CD right off the rip. Henny Penny. I'm always looking for interesting names I see in here. Do I want to take T. Higgins or Tyreek Hill? Yeah, I'll play the T. Higgins game, I guess. Could have taken Trey McBride there. That would have been my other thought. But it's a fun running back room. How much A.J. Brown do you have? Is anyone's? Let's see. A.J. Brown, I think I'm right at the field. 8.8%, so slightly over. Glad I missed a cut though. Beach. Yeah, I mean that I wouldn't be complaining about that start. I kind of wish I was in your spot getting that start. Dirty P. Yeah, so I have 8% AJB. Most of the time I was taking him when he would fall later in the second, and then would try and get Hurts in the fourth when it would happen. Curious how much Hurts I have. I feel like I'm overweight on Hurts. Nope, just under 6.9%. Because I was doing the Hurts and Devontae Smith thing. 4% Saquon fade. So yeah, and I wasn't as much of a Saquon fade, but for the longest time when you could get, and you still can sometimes, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith at the 4-5 turn, I was hammering that when I could. I understand the Saquon fade, and I can totally see why. And I wanted to do it, but I still got up to 6%. Just because I feel like I don't like the odds of him running it back, but can definitely see where their offense isn't very different, and they really do seem to just pile on. A lot of these receivers getting pushed down in the second round, huh? Marion Hampton all the way to 34. Barely overweight on Hurts now. Is that like, yeah, and that's pretty much what it was too. I would know I was above weight for him for a while when I was hammering him and Devontae Smith over here all the time. And haven't been doing it as much, and that's pretty much when it fell under. I know I was at like 12% for a while, but then I started pushing quarterback down the board or taking the elites up here. Yeah, see, now, and I wonder, it feels like so many people are fading Saquon. Somebody's got to have a bag, is what it is. Jane Daniels and Jalen Hurts from Henny Penny. Yeah, that's an interesting one in the marathon, isn't it? I was looking for him when I was doing that a minute ago and definitely didn't see it. Yeah, that would make sense. I could see that being the case. Seems like something that would be pretty intelligent you could do. More fun in here is, should I maybe get one of these Breeze shares here? Yeah, let's take one. Just at the tail end of the fourth, because that'll make this team a little bit unique. Every time I go and push him here, he doesn't make it to 50. I mean, Hartman, I don't see how you could be an Lions fan. That would be a tough sell for me. But I feel like Bijan, Gibbs, and Barkley are all both in that extremely good range right there. I still think I like Sutton the best. Yeah, so we got Brees Hall, CeeDee Lamb, Lad McConkey, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton. Took the hero Brees Hall running back. Don't think it's the greatest idea, but I've got some good volume wide receivers where I'm not too worried about it. As long as Brees isn't absolute tanking, should be all right. I kind of want to see if I could push Brees back to 50, but every time I do that, I had one where I was streaming a while ago, and Cody was actually in the one hole. And I think he went 3 wide receivers and then Brees, Kenneth Walker. And I was like, okay, that didn't work. I've been wanting to try to get some cheaper Brees, but I didn't want to miss out entirely there, I guess. Not that it would have been the end of the world. I just knew that with my quarterbacks I'd have coming back. Burrow's already gone because he went here, so I can't worry about that. My other quarterbacks will be in a little bit here. So just grab a running back. We'll see if another one makes it back. A lot of running backs gobbled up in this range, though. Yeah, that seems a little bit low in marathon for Tootin, especially with it being a season-long thing. ETN gets traded or something, he ends up the one. That could be really good. The Jags and the Bears backfield are still the biggest mysteries to me, just like they have been all summer. I was going to fade CMC last year, but I was a coward and took 8%. I'm sticking with my gut list. Well, I actually, Dirty Pete, it's funny you bring that up. I ran hot last year and took CMC at about 17%. So if that tells you anything about how fades work, might be a good thing to fade them sometimes. I think it was 16 or 17% CMC last year. I was at, I'm just hammering it like, okay, I'm just going to ride this while it's hot. I mean, isn't Roshan like a fun mystery? Like there's just no news about him. It's just quiet all the time. You'll hear stuff like nobody even brings it up. It's so funny. Just these random little one-off things. What if all the Bears running backs are ass and we need Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, DJ Moore, and Rome? My best team, my best best ball mania last year was a Rashi Rice and Brandon Ayuk team. Also a Saquon team, but doesn't matter when it's Ayuk and Rashi Rice. Didn't happen. I'll show you that team match. I think it was the Lions stack with the 49ers, and then Ayuk got hammered. I think I might actually had both sides of that game in that one. Do I want another? Okay, I think I like Diggs more than Olave there. Oh man, I would love to see the Twitter meltdown on that. Absolutely love to see it. You know, there's going to be some things like for especially week 1 with some of these rookie running backs that aren't going to get the volume we're expecting. God, do I have to take Swift there as we're talking about this? Okay. Yeah, like there's going to be some, or like there's going to be some running back that gets a bulk of the work that most of us aren't expecting. And everyone's going to overreact, and then it's going to go back to the running back that we are expecting to get the work, and people are just going to waste their time. At least that's what I think. You guys know how this works. Week one, not just victory laps, but also belly aching over stuff that may or may not even be true yet. Calm down there, Mike. We're just trying to make you a little more favorable position. Tyler Warren and David Njoku there. Facial Tootin healthy will have been in shambles. I mean, I think I've got a little bag of Tootin as well. I don't remember because some of these guys 10%. I can't remember because some of these guys, it's like as I'm trying to mix in some of the other ones, especially in the biggest backfields like Jacksonville's, I worry a little bit more about that stuff because there's just no clarification. Or are they all going to be equal parts and only one of them will smash like the last week of the year? So many range of outcomes with that stuff. That's one I feel like the Denver wide receiver room is another good one between Mims and Pat Bryant, where I feel like they're all going to get work, but outside of Cortland Sutton, is it going to be just a split from everyone? Trying to think what other. Tyreek Hill's a great one. Is he going to melt down or is the Dolphins offense actually going to work the way it should? Like it hasn't before. Bo Nix goes there. Would have thought about him. Didn't think he'd necessarily make it back, but I would have thought about it. Currently a 0-2-5-0. Brees Hall and DeAndre Swift are the running backs. Hate the running back room, but I got them both on a value, so it's like, whatever. Well, Brees, I just took at the turn. DeAndre Swift came around the turn. CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, Stephon Diggs. Golden, Pearsall, Hunter. How do you order those guys? I have them as listed. Well, Golden is my highest ranked or one of my most exposed players in that rank. So I as far as I would order them, I would probably go Golden, Hunter, Pearsall, especially now that we have the Juwan Jennings news. That's what I do anyhow. I feel like Hunter, obviously, I mean, we know he could have the nutted outcome. Pearsall, I feel like, has more target competition now with Jennings coming back, CMC being healthy, Kittle being there. In this range, don't like Jaden Reed. Jaden Higgins, maybe? Or do I like Mark Andrews the most there? I think that's what it is. I probably could have pushed him. I didn't realize he already had tight end, or I wouldn't have done it. I tried to get him back at 90. That was a mistake, probably. Didn't notice the one hole had Laporta. Not used to him going there. Was more thinking that he would have Jamar Chase and want to take Andrews there for week 15 bring back. Rashid Shaheed would have been a thought of mine there. Do I need to take Dak here? Probably do. I don't like Dak. I don't feel I don't love him this year, but I feel like volume wise, they should just get a ton. If they're running backs, I mean, I don't believe in any of their running backs to actually sustain a running workload. I feel like Jaden Blue might be the best one because they might just have to sling it 100,000 times this year. Not really 100,000, but 600s in the range of outcomes. I just don't see how they're going to run the ball efficiently, especially given the running backs they have, even if their offensive line was good. What have we seen from Javonte? And what have we seen from Miles Sanders that wasn't behind a Philly offensive line? We saw Miles Sanders with a bad offensive line in Carolina. He looked, well, bad. I thought about Justin Fields there, but I didn't want to pass up Dak because I had Brees. Lockdown defense. Oh, I feel like if you're going to do that, then why would you get rid of Micah Parsons? Am I crazy? Either that or 650. And I feel like Jerry kind of threw that out the window dealing Micah Parsons, didn't he? Like, now you can't have a pass rush. You can't even put your offense. Not that you can't have a pass rush, but yeah, you do got to stop the run. I just don't know how Dallas is even going to be able to run the ball. I feel like they might stop themselves from running the ball. Just look at their backfield. They've even got like they want a pass catching back and a pass blocking back and Miles Sanders. I feel like the writing's on the wall. They just want to maybe Jerry just said, Dak, you're going to earn your money. Go out there and throw it 600 times. Does that seem unlike something that Jerry would think in his head or write a deal on a napkin over? It doesn't sound that crazy to me. Maybe it does to you guys. Chris Godwin's another thing interesting lately. Do you feel he's going to be much of a contributor this year, or is he going to be hampered with that? Because that was a pretty bad injury. I was clicking a little bit earlier. I've stone cold stopped lately. Might have to think about Herbert. May already went, so yeah, that's what I thought. Took him one. I mean, and that's like the range where you feel like, okay, I feel like anything after round 12 is just defensible. You're picking here because at that you don't know where else anybody else is going to start grabbing pieces from, especially later in the year. We'll take Tank there. He took ETN. That's why I was thinking this is kind of the leverage bet against him there in the one hole. I hate these running backs, but I'm just looking for points from them at this point. Good offense, and hopefully getting a deal on Brees. Christian Kirk goes to the drafter in the one hole. See what he does here before I kick it back to the right side of the board. He goes Luther Burden. I'm going to get Herbert here and just stack up my top two receivers. So 2-3-5-1. Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Brees Hall, DeAndre Swift, Tank Bigsby, CeeDee Lamb, Lad McConkey, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, Stephon Diggs, and Mark Andrews round out the team thus far. Probably just going to be a 2-quarterback build and fill in some missing pieces. Give that back to you guys and get back to the chat. Dirty P says, I finished BBM with 6% Hunter. Every time I'm staring at him, I wonder what happens if Jags DB room gets hit with a couple injuries. I totally understand that. I wonder if he's one of the guys where I feel like I want to be at the field just because he was, the first pick in the draft, and he's playing both ways. That does. I can make the case for both. I don't want him. He's one of the guys I feel like can cook me, is what it is. Way out on Godwin. Okay, good. That's kind of where I was at with it to it. The JJ McCarthy snipe out of nowhere. Where did he go? Was it in this draft? What are you talking about here, Hartman? That JJM snipe out of nowhere on me. What are you talking about in here, Hartman? I was trying to figure it out. Oh, you had Addison, but oh, this guy. I see now. Wow, okay. Never mind. I figured it out. Yep. Never mind. I was piecing it together as you were talking about it. I was like, oh, he had Addison and did this is the stuff I'm talking about. Like that's why I knew Dak wouldn't come back, and I was even worried a little bit with him having Allen here. I was like, he might just take Herbert. Didn't think anything. Yeah, and oh, he did have Mahomes. I forgot he had Lamar. Jesus, that's awful. See, this is the stuff where it can be good to draft in these rooms, and boy, can it feel awful when that happens. Yeah, I can understand your frustration with that. And then you got to take Goff for the bring back. Yeah, I can see why. And that's stuff where it's just like there's no you're not in any part of that game. Like it's just a wasted pick. I think you've got Lamar, you got Patrick Mahomes. I'm not sure. Sometimes you wonder too. People just click buttons. I don't know. I'm not saying I do the most plus EV things all the time, but I think I know when something isn't correct. Like none of those are quarterbacks in my game. Who do you take there? Josh Palmer. Okay. I think I could get away with both of these. I'm going to take Jaden Blue just because, like I was saying, if there's going to be one running back that catches balls out of their backfield, it would be him, Goddard, and Hollywood Brown, and ships it back. Trey Harris, Quentin Johnston, huh? I also have these running backs here. Wanted to grab another contingent upside in that play. I felt like he was the best run, the one that was left. The anti James Conner play. I didn't like, and I mean, I could take Dylan Sampson, any of the guys that actually correlate with my team, but I don't like those running backs necessarily. If anything, I was going to wait for one of the Chargers wide receivers to come back because my wide receiver room's okay. I've got enough firepower up top. Just wanted to get another running back. Hopefully, hodgepodge this room together. That's just there. I saw that. At least the Lions wide receiver one is available for a stack. Or is he? Because now, I mean, at least you got Ridley and Fields with Goff, and you got Goff for the bring back. But now Tesla doesn't come back either. And this is the thing where these guys that were down here on the bottom are now getting brought up into this range. I don't know that I love Trey Benson there. I just didn't like anything else in that range. And without reaching down here for other stuff that I wasn't too fond of, I feel like Connor being pretty dusty, he could be a running back that just ends up in a role. Yeah, 13's too much. 15, I can see it. 14, even if you have the stack, but 13, that's tough. Still feels like there's other picks that are a lot more projectable in that range. He had no part of that game either. That's what I was wondering if I forgot. I didn't remember if Jefferson went at 5. Najee Harris would have been a back I would have thought about if he came back just because I'm in the game, but I'm not even worried about that now with the running backs I have. Just hoping to, I mean, we've got 2 week 8 buys, 5, 10, 9. None of the running backs I like, so hopefully we're just Frankenstein in that room together. I stacked my first and second wide receivers. Mark Andrews feels like still the really good bet at tight end at damn near pick 100. After this, I'll just fill out other pieces that are fun to play with these offenses, I guess. I don't really like going any other quarterbacks besides this when you spend that capital early. Could look for some other tight ends. See, both of these guys made it back. That's what I was thinking would happen. Trey Harris, rookie upside. Yeah, I'll take Trey Harris there. He's fallen quite a bit from where he was earlier, but down there, if that offense is good, should be just fine. Take them both. Chargers onslaught, huh? I don't think I want to do that yet, though. We'll take the week 16 bring back passing running back there because there's not really other good pieces I can get there. 2-6-6-1. Be done at running back after this. Volume played that. Gonna have to get one more tight end at least, possibly another wide receiver or two for the bring back. Basically, just playing that for the Chargers and Houston game to shoot out a little bit. And if this team gets there, then you're looking at having a few pieces that get it in week 16 and 17. So if you can get this team into week 16 and that game shoots out, you got a good shot at making some money. I think with likely the capital I spent should be a 2 tight end build. So I'd probably grab, I guess let's do some fun picks in this one, right? Something like Turpin and something like that. We'll see if who makes it back. And then probably just take my third tight end. Yeah, something like that would probably work. Thielen, did he go to? No, I was wondering if he. I always look to see if Thielen ends up going to the Justin Jefferson drafter because I feel like that's a good. I wonder how many of those we've luck boxed into taking Thielen late on a Jefferson team and he ended up getting traded. I don't think it's a lot of them, but he also went so late that there's a real chance that you could get him in any of like 2 or 3 rounds down here. And also, people were probably where he was falling. They could have been actually building the Detroit game and luck boxed into it as well. Might have actually been a good pick if it made it back to Hartman there. Amari Cooper, one of Dirty P's least favorite picks on the board, all the way up in the 15th, 16th round. Sorry. Jalen Coker at what is that pick 186? I'd have a hard time making that bet outside probably the last. I guess you could take in the last 3 rounds. I was really thinking even here, you can maybe take Hunter Renfro later. That was what I was thinking last draft. I don't know. It just feels like if you're gonna in the weeks you're gonna need the guys, Coker's probably the one that is most likely to be healthy. Up in 3 picks here. 2-6-6-1. We do have QJ there if we still wanted him. Interesting enough, isn't it? See what Hartman's thinking here from the 4 hole. Darius Slayton, Chris Rodriguez. I think I'm going to take Jonnu Smith there for my second tight end. Pretty late for Jonnu. Man, QJ just feels down there. That feels too cheap, don't it? I'm going to do it. So I've got Lad McConkey, Trey Harris, and Quentin Johnston, basically the KLS fade. But with where I'm paying the prices for these two, if that's a good offense, those are such cheap pieces to get for just touchdown. Like they've got to outscore these wide receivers. But I also have CeeDee Lamb on week 10 and T Higgins on week 10, where these guys all have week 12. So I've got kind of heavy week 12 by there with all them, but I also have good pieces that, fill it in. And then we probably just bring one more piece back in one of these games. I've got 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers. Probably make another bet, something like that I think Huhames would like in the event that he gets back there. But this will for sure end up 2-6-8-2 now. Yeah, just a hodgepodge running back room. If Breeze is good, though, then it's not as bad. But some of us, you're just looking for one of these guys to take over or fall into the starting job somehow. Let's check what Hartman's doing on here from the 4 hole. Jameer Gibbs, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, Calvin Ridley, Isaiah Pacheco, Jordan Addison, Caleb Johnson, Justin Fields with the Garrett Wilson bet, Cam Scatabo, Jared Goff because he got sniped on J.J. McCarthy, Dalton Kincaid, Cam Ward with Calvin Ridley, and I think I saw Lika Minor and Chigakonkwo after that. So bet on the Titans offense being better than where their ADP suggests it should be. I mean, if that's such a good stack to get 13, 14, 15. If Cam Ward is like 80% of Jaden Daniels last year, then he probably takes both these guys with him. You know, if Ayamanor is the 2 and Chigakonkwo is the starting tight end all year. That's why I wonder what percent Cam Ward I got. I've wanted to take more of him lately. Did they switch it back? Yeah, they did. See, I'm only at 5.5%. I wanted to get that up to the field just because I feel like pattern matching from last year could be a good thing. I don't know that they'll be as good as Washington was, though, in the turnaround. That's the one reason I wasn't trying to like make it happen. If it happened, it happened. Kavonte Turpin, Henny Penny takes a guy I was thinking about there. We'll still go ahead and grab another Dallas piece for fun and take Jalen Tolbert. Just to round that out. So we double stacked the Cowboys, triple stacked the Chargers. Ends up 2-6-8-2. Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Brees Hall, DeAndre Swift, Tank Bigsby, Jaden Blue, Trey Benson, and Woody Marks are the running backs. CeeDee Lamb, Lad McConkey, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, Stephon Diggs, Trey Harris, Quentin Johnston, Jalen Tolbert, Mark Andrews, and Jonnu Smith round out the tight end room. Malik Washington, Josh Reynolds, Kavonte Turpin would have been the pick I thought about. Jalen Lane was the other one I thought about, but he did not make it to me. Ward, I have right at field. Kind of disappointed. Yeah, that's where I wanted to be. But the way some of these teams started falling as I was building them later in the year, I had to take quarterbacks earlier with the wide receivers I had. And Ward was at a spot where I couldn't justify a third in a lot of those, or I already had a week 10 buy and didn't want to double dip it. So I ended up at like 6% of my guess. So I think that's going to be it. Kind of sad that this might be the last teams I'm drafting until we get some best ball resurrection or something like that. But I want to thank everybody that came out today and supported one of the smaller guys out here. Who Hames, Hartman, Dirty P, off the schneid, if I can find your comment right there. All you guys that are in here showing support, trying to do the things that all of us do. Make the community grow. I think it's a good thing. I think we're definitely growing and trending in the right direction. We're all learning and making this game we like to play a whole lot better. So hopefully one of us, if not a few of us, are going to hit it big this year and keep continuing to make this the thing that we love doing. I appreciate you there, Hardman. It's been a fun summer. I look forward to seeing all you guys in the chat rooms and probably having meltdowns on Twitter when some of your takes don't work out. I'll be there with you, but we'll see how it goes. Good luck to everybody. We've got football tonight. How exciting is that? In 7 hours? Time to go get ready. I'll see you guys later.